Good afternoon. I'm Max Brantley with the Arkansas Times. It's Monday, February, another week of the legislature. Gay people began being married in Alabama today. The U.S. Supreme Court refused to stay a federal judge's ruling that the ban in that state was unconstitutional. This despite the Chief Justice of the Alabama Supreme Court issuing a unilateral order saying people shouldn't issue marriage licenses. There were no case before him on which he did this. Clerks began marrying people as the federal courts rule they must, and so the rule of law stands in Alabama. This raises an interesting question in Arkansas, where the Arkansas Supreme Court continues to dither on deciding the case that it faces on whether the state's ban is unconstitutional or not. Chris Piazza, as you may recall, struck this down last May. The case was heard on an expedited basis in November. Last week, the Supreme Court of Arkansas said that it wanted to give parties 30 days to argue who should hear this case, since membership of the court has changed since the case was heard. This is nothing but a delaying tactic. There's a terrible split on the court that has been rumored about at great length, and I think it begins to look clearly now as if the Arkansas Supreme Court wants the U.S. Supreme Court to rule before it does. It's cowardly, if nothing else, and it delays justice. Whichever side of the case you're on, they deserve a decision. Speaking of gay rights, the Arkansas Senate will vote shortly this afternoon on Bart Hester's bill to prohibit cities from passing ordinances that extend civil rights protection to gay people. This was a response to the Fayetteville ordinance. He wants nothing less than to preserve the right to be able to discriminate against gay people in housing, hiring, and public accommodations. I expect the bill to pass the Senate this afternoon. I've asked Governor Asa Hutchinson what he thinks about it so far. He hasn't issued an opinion about it. Interesting finding about Obamacare today. Talk Business Magazine and Hendrix College just did a poll on how people in Arkansas feel about the so-called private option healthcare expansion. This is the Medicaid expansion that was financed and provided for by what has become known as Obamacare, the Federal Affordable Care Act. If you call it just a private option, a bare majority supports its passage by the legislature. If you call it the private option and says it's given 200,000 people insurance and has helped hospitals, an even bigger majority supports it. But if you tell people that it's a facet of Obamacare, suddenly they're against it. Isn't there magic in that word in Arkansas? I think the elections in November proved that pretty conclusively. In Fort Smith, they've begun a petition drive to change the form of city government from a city administrator form to a mayor council form. I've been told by people who should know that such talk is underway in Little Rock. We have a somewhat stronger mayor situation in Little Rock, but we have a blended system. There's confusion between the city manager and mayor who exactly is in charge at certain times. The board is controlled by a special interest group from the wealthy neighborhoods of town. It's not truly democratic. We've long favored mayor council here at the Arkansas Times for Little Rock. Mike Huckabee still peddling his book and still saying outrageous things. The latest today is he says Obama, the president, just doesn't like Christians. He likes Muslims more. This isn't supported by facts, but facts are rarely really important when Mike Huckabee gets in full rhetorical flourish. Bret Bielema, the Arkansas Razorback football coach, you'd think I could get his name right by now, got a great raise last week. Over the weekend, they announced they're raising his pay from $3 million to $4.25 million a year and extending his contract by 2 years. Jeff Long, the athletic director, really likes the football coach. If you get $1 million raise for a 7-6 season, what do they give him if he goes undefeated next year? We'll make him king of Arkansas, I think. And finally, the state of Arkansas is pushing people to buy Powerball lottery tickets. The jackpot's up to $450 million, and the lottery's saying, come on and buy those tickets, because then we'll make more money to give to college scholarships. I find something just a little bit slightly seedy about the state urging people to make a sucker bet in a lottery. However, it's somewhat hypocritical, because whenever the lottery gets up to this level and I'm guaranteed $100 million plus take after taxes, I buy one ticket. It's worth $2 worth of daydreams for sure. I'm Max Brantley. I'll be back tomorrow.